In this video we are going to talk about plant-based diets and why they are good for not only your body and health, but also for the environment. The #1 killer in the United States, which is heart disease, is almost non-existent in places around the world where plant-based diets are the norm. According to an article by Dr. Michael Greger on plant-based diets, the arteries of vegans appear healthier than even long-distance endurance athletes and those on low-carb diets. Even independent of saturated fat, animal protein consumption has been associated with heart disease. While switching to a plant-based diet appears to reverse heart disease, this does not mean that we can eat recklessly until symptoms appear due to the risk of sudden cardiac death. Eating a plant-based diet has been shown to increase immune response to patients with cancer, even if they ate that way for just 2 weeks. Dr. Caldwell B. Esselstyn's research has been shown to reverse heart disease with a strict plant-based diet, which his patients are prescribed. Choosing a diet high in fruits and vegetables will help you from developing many chronic diseases and obesity. This way of eating also keeps you from eating so many processed foods, which can lead to diabetes and other health issues. With a very low amount of meat consumption or none at all, people have been able to maintain a healthy weight better than their meat-eating counterparts. Eating low on the food chain, which means eating plants, decreases your exposure to dietary hormones that have been injected into or fed to livestock and have been linked to multiple health issues in humans. But how does eating low on the food chain help the environment? Eating plants lessens greenhouse gas emissions, therefore helping combat global warming. Globally, livestock contributes to about 18% of the total global greenhouse emissions of CO2. That's about 7.1 billion tons of carbon dioxide. Livestock also contributes roughly 65% of human-related nitrous oxide, which is 296 times the CO2 global warming potential, and 35% of the methane, which has 35 times the global warming potential of CO2. This production of methane has to do with enteric fermentation, or the natural digestive processes of animals in the management of their manure. According to the FAO, the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, methane emissions from livestock are estimated at about 2.2 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalent, accounting for about 80% of agricultural methane and 35% the total anthropogenic methane emissions. Beef eaters consume almost 160% more land resources than those who eat a plant-based diet. According to a study entitled Land, Irrigation Water, Greenhouse Gas, and Reactive Nitrogen Burdens of Meat, Eggs, and Dairy Production in the United States, you can find the link to this study as well as other resources used to make this video in the section below. According to OneGreenPlanet.org, about 80% of the deforestation of the Amazon rainforest can be attributed to beef production. But only 1 acre of land equals 250 pounds of beef, which may seem like a lot until you put it in perspective. Because if that land was used for the production of tomatoes, that would mean 50,000 pounds of tomatoes. If it was used for potatoes, it would mean 53,000 pounds of potatoes. But if it was used for carrots, it would equal 30,000 pounds of carrots, which is a lot more than the 250 pounds of beef it would produce. Eating a plant-based diet can help limit the amount of water that is used to bring that food to your plate. The average American in 2015 consumed 54 pounds of beef, about 50 pounds of pork, and 106 pounds of poultry. If you think about it, 1 pound of beef requires 1,799 gallons of water. A pound of pork requires 576 gallons of water, and 1 pound of chicken requires 468 gallons of water, whereas those potatoes we talked about earlier, a pound of potatoes requires 119 gallons of water. When you put this all into perspective, if just one person gives up their meat diet, they would save 162,486 gallons of water every year, which is enough to provide water for 445 people annually. Eating a plant-based diet worldwide would help to feed 82 million people who are undernourished or food insecure in the world. 10% of the total freshwater usage in the United States is put towards domestic use, whereas 70% of freshwater usage goes to agriculture, a third of that being only for growing feed used for livestock. So next time you visit the grocery store or order at a restaurant, think about the benefits to eating no meat, not only for yourself, but for everyone on our planet and the planet itself. Do your own research at onegreenplanet.org, the National Geographic website at environment.nationalgeographic.org, or the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations at FAO.org. Thank you for watching!